Meh, it is what it is. Not gonna spend a lot of time worrying about it. Are you gonna freak out on me tonight, computer? What are you doing? Calm down. Don't panic, computer. Work for me here. Anyway, don't got a lot to share today. So I feel like this is probably gonna be a short one. I'm just ready to be done with the keto, honestly. I want to go back to just eating whatever works for me at a given time. Trying to think of expansions on some of the things I was talking about, how my body's responded to keto. Yeah, I think I mentioned yesterday, digestively, I haven't had it too bad. It's been fairly cooperative for that most of that time. I feel like early on I was a little getting used to it. I think the tendency of my body to go like, oh no, there's way too much oil on that. But I don't know. We'll see how things settle back out when I switch back around. Trying not to get too gross about some details, but I will say that my ears, of all things that are weird to talk about, I feel like I've been producing more skin oil and more earwax. And maybe that's something my body is doing. I don't know. I mean, I think overall the biggest difference I'm noticing is the mood change. Like today, I'm just I wasn't in a bad mood when I got up today, but it was easy enough for something to derail me today to a point where I'm not really depressed. I'm just kind of wholly and completely apathetic about everything. I just don't care. And considering I finished yesterday off with a bit of a rant about how one should manage their own diet and health care, and previously in this week, I think I've had a day or two where I had just an angry day or so. The mood switch is pretty aggressively fast. So I can't help but wonder a little bit if it's one of those things where if you have a mood disorder, if you have a bipolar or something like that, if you do some changes to how you eat, will it affect your mood and your disorder? I'm also very tired today. Apathetic and tired. But yeah, other than that, not much to report other than being absolutely freaking fed up with the heavy, greasy, oily food. Yeah. Other than that, not much else going on with the keto diet today. I am in this midst of sort of trying to plot out the sets of reps that I want to do for I guess we'll still call them plyometrics. I do think that starting block sprint bit for a short distance is one of the things I want to do. I want to do a long jump, and I want to do high jumping. Not high jump, but jumping high. And I want to try to do side jumping, which sounds weird because I don't think I've ever seen anybody talking about that. But I know from some of the exercises I did that were body weight exercises that they work a different set of muscles. And so I want to look into doing that, and then or something equivalent to that. And then I I guess jumping push-ups or something, however I want to call, whatever I want to call that. They're just weird choices of things to try to do. I'm making it up as I go because there's a lot of other weird people out there making weird choices on that. I find it strange that there's not a lot of information out there about exercises targeting the different types of muscle fiber, and of what's out there, so much of it is weird pseudoscience. How are we missing that much? I feel like I should be able to, maybe it's just me being, grumpy about it, but let's see if we can look up good scientific sources for fast twitch muscle exercises. Because there's got to be something out there. I can't just leave it to the dudes in the gym making stuff up. I feel like that's going to get me a crappy result, because you type in anything about exercises and you include the word science, and all these people who make up this weird garbage, they oftentimes have the belief that they are working scientific ideas. And so I have to be a little bit of a pessimist about some of that, or a skeptic, I guess is probably the better word. I don't want any speakers kicking on any audio while I'm doing this, because I'm sure there are going to be plenty of pop-up ads with video playing. Okay, see, like right off the bat, this is what I was talking about last night. So you want to be as strong as the Hulk? No, I don't. No, I don't. That was never on the list. I want to be able to increase my range of explosive muscles power. So that's not being big. I'm looking to be able to release power quickly. It's a very different set of applications for that. Yeah. Like if somebody searched for fast twitch muscles exercises, don't spend the first page talking about what fast twitch muscles are. Like there's a pretty good chance they already know. Type 1 slow twitch and type 2 fast twitch. Type 2 fibers are further broken down into subclasses. Type 2A and type 2X, fast twitch non-oxidative. Type 1 slow twitch, yeah, we know that. Type 2 fast twitch oxidative glycolytic. There you go. Glycolytic, there's a word. Good number of mitochondria can use both fat stores and glycogen stores for energy, resistance to fatigue, and recover quickly. Good for fast, repetitive, low-intensity activity. Bodybuilders possess high numbers of type 2A muscles. How do you figure? Suggests type 2A suggests it plays a big role in muscle size. I already doubt this source very substantially at this point. So type 2X, low number of mitochondria, large in diameter, fast fatiguing, good for high intensity, large power output, such as field events and powerlifting. Yeah, that's cool. That's a nice little approximation of what you think's going on. How about we look at... See, there's one of the key things. When I've done some research on some of my genetics, part of the reason I was kind of curious to see what I could do with some of these exercise routines is a conversation I had with one of my half-sisters. We share a father. We both got some gene testing a while back I did it for my health condition to see what kind of responses and issues I might have. And she did it for some heritage stuff. And my result came back, and I was talking with her about it, and I said, yeah, your results indicate what's probably a good thing for you. What your actual things may aren't necessarily fully reflected. And as an example, I read off some of mine, and one of mine said that I have a gene that activates for more types of muscle fibers that are found in Olympic and world-class athletes, which we all thought was freaking hilarious, because I am not a world-class athlete. I have never been a world-class athlete. I was a roly-poly little boy, and I've never been, like, I could lift weights and I could walk long distance, but I was not a power athlete. And so we found it hilarious that my genes suggest I have power athlete potential. And I got wondering, like, is this sort of like my music, where I took music classes in high school, and I started with about a 5-note range, and within 2 weeks, I had close to an octave range, and my music teacher was just absolutely ecstatic. And I had done absolutely jack squat with it. After high school, I didn't do anything with music ever again. And, I was in band in school as well. And during band, I can remember sitting in one of my band classes, and I could play back on my instruments exactly what you gave me as a thing to play back, and I could target a particular note and tell you what it was. And I had somebody sitting next to me goes like, that's pretty impressive. I'm like, it's just doing what people told me to do. He goes, like, most people can't do that. And I'm like, are you sure? And I don't know if it was just fluffing my ego or what. I just assumed whatever and just went on with my life. And I've never done anything to test out and work and develop those skills. And so the same kind of question comes to my mind of, have I had this potential to be athletic in my life and just never used it? Have I failed to take that opportunity that I have and use it? I don't know. Is there a way I could explore it and find out? That's one of the things I wanted to look into. But when we come to an article like what we have right here, where they're talking about how bodybuilders develop fast twitch muscle responses better, I feel like that's confirmation bias on their part and selection bias potentially on their part. Because I'm going to guarantee you, this is what, stack.com? This is a bodybuilding website. Of course they're going to say that. Just like at 2 o'clock in the morning on Facebook, there's a good chance that one of 100 friends is going to post that thing saying night owls are more intelligent than other people. Of course they are. That's when you're going to see that. There's a massive bias in that opinion. And so I feel like there's going to be some of that. And then there's going to be the other thing that where, like, you're going to get the people who do not succeed at doing or developing muscle developing exercises are going to be the ones that wash out. So your sample size of the people who are doing these things on a regular basis are going to be the ones that didn't wash out. It's not that those people aren't developing fast twitch muscles. It's just that you're not testing them because they're not part of this, sample group that you're testing, because they washed out of your program. I would be fascinated if somebody did a study of couch potatoes to see how many of them have fast twitch muscle development in excess of the baseline standard level of fast twitch muscle development. And even then, I'd be curious and partially skeptical. I'm sitting here thinking right now, it's like, yeah, but if you're a couch potato and you don't do much long-term exercises, the majority of your exercise is going to be hefting yourself off the couch, climbing the stairs, just like basic physical activities that are going to be short burst exercises. You're not building a lot of muscle, but your proportion of fast twitch to slow twitch might be different if that's all you do with your muscles. So I'm kind of curious, like, what's the case on there? Like, do we have data on that? No, we don't have data on that. So finding a source that claims that bodybuilders have more fast twitch muscle, I find very skeptical. Okay, training for fast twitch muscle fibers. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not going to trust this source. They're prescribing that the regimens that make you look big and buff heroes. So they clearly, bodybuilders are going to recommend bodybuilding exercises as the recommended means of doing whatever you want to do. If you did a search for heart health, I'm sure bodybuilders would tell you their hearts are healthier than everybody else's. Okay, Ace Fitness. No, I don't want to watch that. Recruit Fitness. No. See, this is the crap that pisses me off. Everybody who's talking about fast twitch muscle, this is one of those things, like if you do hiking and physical health, you're going to find biased data or weird obsessions. Like if you have a tick bite and you do a search for what to look for illness from tick bite, you're always going to get articles popping up about Lyme disease, and 100 out of 200, or no, 99 out of 100 of them are going to be some weird site of herbal medicine garbage, woo-woo science. And I feel like the other side of that is looking up anything to do with workouts and fitness routines. You're going to get these bodybuilder weirdos who have all this fluff science to talk about, and it doesn't have the empirical evidence and testing in scientific studies to back it up. There's going to be people out there telling you to take this supplement and eat keto and do 3 training sessions per day with maximum weight. And it's just like, that's not what we're talking about. Okay, maybe something here. BBC. What do we got? Yeah. Dark and white meat. I like the joke on that. Mainly made up of slow. So dark chickens have fast and slow twitch muscles too. Dark meat, like chicken legs, is mainly made up of slow twitch fibers. White meat. So I want to build my white meat, apparently. All you cannibals out there, pay attention. I'm going to build up my white meat. So make muscle in different ways. Okay. It's a lot of the muscle that contains a lot of slow twitch fibers are red because they contain lots of blood vessels. Slow twitch muscle fibers rely on a rich supply of oxygenated blood as they use oxygen to produce energy for muscle contraction. Fast twitch muscle fibers don't use oxygen to make energy, so they don't need such a rich blood supply. This is why fast twitch muscles are lighter in color than muscles that contain lots of slow twitch fibers. Fast twitch muscles can produce small amounts of energy very quickly, whereas, yep, that's cool. where is the rest of the information about what? We don't have any more information than that. That's not useful. All right, well, that's cool and all, but that was a fun little diversion, but that doesn't give us any useful information. Stronger by science. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, yeah, it looks like another gym guy, gym bro kind of website. Key points. Most muscle in your body have a fairly even split of fast twitch and slow twitch fibers. Very few muscles are incredibly fast twitch or slow twitch dominant. Method you typically use in a gym have virtually no predictive power. Okay, so this one says the idea that you should train muscles differently based on their predominant muscle fiber type comes from the notion that fast twitch muscles respond best to heavy weights and low reps, and that slow twitch muscles respond best to lightweight and high reps. Evidence is still very mixed on this point. It's not yet clear that particular training styles specifically target fast twitch or slow twitch fibers in the first place. Even if there was good evidence for fiber type specific hypertrophy, which I don't think is necessarily what we're going for. Hypertrophy is size increase, if I remember correctly, yeah. And even if there was a good practical test to know a muscle fiber type breakdown, it still wouldn't change the general recommendation to keep training that muscle with a variety of rep ranges. Okay. Okay, so however, there are three basic problems with the idea for both physical and scientific reasons. Most muscles have pretty even split. There's not an easy way for you to know which muscles are composed predominantly of which type. It's not even clear that type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers respond preferentially to different styles of training. Yeah, okay, so you're rehashing the same data. Okay, so nobody knows if you can switch to one type or the other. I'm not really looking to switch. I'm just seeing if I can increase my capabilities through the use of one set of muscles. Because I know I can do long haul workouts. I don't have any issue with those. But based off of my genetic data that suggested I had a high performance athlete profile, the suggestion is I have the gene, at least one copy of a gene that can allow me to develop more of the high twitch or fast twitch muscle growth than other people with a different set of genes. So I have at least a genetic test suggesting I have the ability to develop talents for fast twitch based exercise. Power, yeah, so unsurprisingly, power athletes, sprinters, throwers tend to have a higher proportion of type 2 fiber than general population. Endurance athletes. However, bodybuilders, powerlifters, and maybe weightlifters often thought of as power sports, but one that requires higher force outputs than most typical seem to have a pretty similar proportion, type 1, type 2. So yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about with the last article that we looked at, where it stated that bodybuilders and weightlifters have a high level of fast twitch, and this one is specifically stating that it's power sports aren't so much. That like the power lifters and the bodybuilders, not so much. It's the power athletes, the sprinters and throwers. So maybe that's what I need to think about. Instead of doing the plyo push-ups, which is what all the bodybuilder sites out there recommend, what I need to be looking at is lifting and throwing weights. So we've got sprinters and throwers. So for upper body, I think that's what I need to think about. So jumping, sprinting, throwing. That's what I need to be doing. So that was moderately productive. It made me rethink and replan something here. So what I need to do is make a set weight that's sort of like set it to where my limit is, being able to throw something and throw it a very short distance. And based off of that, work that until I can get that throw further out. Because I feel like that's going to be the thing that's going to make the difference in upper body fast twitch. So that's what I need to look at. And I maybe need to think about a couple different ways to do throwing. Just like, you know, jumping forward, jumping up, and jumping side to side are going to be different muscle groups. I need to maybe think about how different ways to throw things. And then I got to figure out how to measure that. Like would I do an overhand, underhand, and I feel like being able to do something, you won't really be able to do a, well, maybe if I get a weight, like a weighted ball. I was going to say, you don't want to throw anything directly up because then you're under a falling weight. Like nobody wants to go out, pick up an anvil, throw it straight up, and then worry about it coming back down at them. That sounds like a really stupid idea. But if I got like a medicine ball, a weighted medicine ball, and just try to do, I guess it's a stupid way to phrase it, but throw ups, along with throw forward, and then side throws, like that's going to work as many muscles for the upper body as really makes sense. I think that's probably what I should think about doing. And I guess a weighted ball of some kind is probably the best way to do that. So I got to figure that out and then use a measure of the distance I can get things going on that. And by the same token, I need to figure out a distance measure for forward jumping, side jumping, and vertical jump. And just see if I can, see where my current limits are, and then see how fast and how steady I can increase my capabilities in each of those types of motions. So I'm feeling better about that now than I was before. Like it was one of those frustrations of like, well, this was a series of exercises that I couldn't find a reliable and interesting source to look into. So I think that's probably what I need to do, is just disregard the plyo push-ups and the weird little hand walking exercises that I've seen people demonstrating as the primary plyometric exercises, and just look at what I need to be doing is power athlete, sprinter, thrower style exercises, and gauging how I do with that. And then I've got the next set of exercises that I'll be doing in November and December are the slow twitch muscle stuff, the weightlifting. And Well, honestly, I mean, the biking and stuff is technically a slow twitch muscle work, but that's also more of a it's not quite a cardio for me because I don't really get the cardio activity from that, but it is an endurance work. So yeah, I think I got a better sense of how to do fast twitch than I did like a month ago. And I'm still trying to figure out how to plan all this out. Alrighty, so that's I think where I'm going to call it tonight. I'm going to figure out some more stuff, and I mean, I guess I got more to talk about tomorrow with the more specifics about how I'm going to do the exercises. And then what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. We got 2 more days in the week to talk about this stuff. It doesn't feel like there's that much to talk about anymore. I need to work on some videos for the next 24 hours and then get to work on some other things because we're coming close to the end of the month and I need to get stuff squared away. But thanks for joining me. I will see you tomorrow. I hope everything's good with you. Take care of yourself and have a good night. All right, so toodaloo to you.